I'm gonna have to bring on another 8 crews. Your split sucks.
I didn't expect Landman to break me like this. Not with explosions. Not with big speeches. But with quiet choices, heavy silences, and one man realizing that everything he built is slipping through his fingers. Episode 10 doesn't just end a season. It strips Tommy down to his bones, and what's left is painful, raw, and impossible to ignore. Season 2 has always been about pressure. Pressure underground, pressure inside families, pressure that builds slowly until something finally gives. And in episode 10, that pressure hits its breaking point. From the very first moments, the episode feels different, heavier, slower, like the show itself knows what it's about to do to us. Tommy walks through this episode like a man already mourning his life, even before the final blow lands. He smiles when he has to. He nods when people talk. But his eyes tell another story. This is not a man in control anymore. This is a man waiting for impact. The offshore project, the thing that has haunted the entire season, no longer feels like a goal. It feels like a threat. What once represented ambition now feels like a ticking clock. Everyone around Tommy is celebrating progress, money, momentum. But Tommy can see the cracks forming. He has seen this before. He knows what happens when greed moves faster than caution, and that knowledge isolates him. Being the smartest person in the room is a curse when no one wants to listen. At home, the distance is just as loud. Angela doesn't ask questions anymore. She manages problems the same way she always has, by removing them, by paying them away, by pretending they don't exist. Her choices are fast, decisive, and emotionally distant. And while they look like strength on the surface, they leave Tommy standing alone with the consequences. There is no partnership here. There is no shared burden. Every decision pulls them further apart, and episode 10 makes it painfully clear that love alone is no longer enough to hold this marriage together. What hurts the most is how quiet the damage is. No screaming matches. No dramatic ultimatums. Just small moments where Tommy realizes he is no longer included, no longer consulted, no longer supported. His job is unstable. His family feels fragile. And the one thing he believed made him valuable, his judgment, has slowly become the very reason people want him out of the way. The episode gives us brief moments of warmth, almost like mercy. Conversations about dreams that never died. Confessions that come too late. Hints of connection in a world built on extraction and loss. These moments don't fix anything. They just remind us what's at stake, what could be lost. And that's what makes the rest so devastating. Because by the time the celebration begins, the audience already knows something is wrong. Tommy doesn't belong in that room. While glasses clink and laughter fills the air, he looks like a man attending his own funeral. He knows this world is moving in a direction that will destroy people. And for the first time, he also knows that he might not survive it, not professionally, not emotionally, not as the man he used to be. Episode 10 doesn't rush to break him. It takes its time. It lets the dread settle in. And that slow burn is exactly why, when everything finally collapses, it doesn't feel shocking. It feels inevitable. The moment Tommy loses his job is not loud. That's what makes it cruel. There's no shouting, no dramatic walkout, no public humiliation. Just a calm conversation that quietly destroys his entire world. Cammy doesn't hesitate. She doesn't soften the blow. She frames it as strategy, as evolution, as necessary growth. But what she's really saying is simple. Tommy is in the way. To her, risk is power. Recklessness is ambition. And caution, the thing that kept people alive for decades, is now seen as weakness. Tommy listens, and you can almost feel him shrinking in that moment. Not because he doubts himself, but because he finally understands that experience no longer matters here. Wisdom has no value in a room obsessed with speed and profit. The company doesn't want a conscience. It wants a gambler. What hurts most is that Tommy is right. He knows exactly how fast things can go wrong. He has watched men die. He has seen explosions turn into funerals. And yet, the system rewards the people who ignore those lessons. So when Cammy takes his power away, it's not just a firing. It's a rejection of everything he stands for, everything he sacrificed for. And the fallout hits immediately. Tommy's job wasn't just work. It was identity. It was security. It was the foundation holding his family upright. Losing it sends shockwaves through every relationship tied to him. Angela's comfort, Aninsley's future, Cooper's position. All of it suddenly feels unstable. Like one bad move could collapse everything. At the same time, the episode refuses to let us sit with just one tragedy. Violence erupts in the most horrifying way. Ariana is cornered, threatened, dehumanized. The danger is real and immediate, and when Cooper steps in, it doesn't turn into a heroic rescue. It turns into something far darker. His response is fueled by fear, rage, and years of buried anger. He doesn't just stop Johnny, he loses himself. The show doesn't glorify it. It doesn't clean it up. We're forced to sit in the mess of it. Cooper crosses a line, and once it's crossed, there's no stepping back. The presence of the security camera changes everything. This isn't something money can erase. This isn't something influence can hide. And with Tommy now powerless, the safety nets that once protected them feel gone. By the end of this section of the story, it becomes painfully clear that the family is standing on the edge of something massive. Careers are gone, lives are altered, and the systems they relied on are no longer working in their favor. Episode 10 makes one thing clear. There is no clean way out of this. Only consequences waiting to be faced. After the firing, the episode shifts into something quieter, but far more painful. This is the part where the damage spreads. Tommy doesn't explode. He doesn't fall apart in public. He carries the weight in silence, and that silence becomes suffocating. Every conversation feels delayed, like the truth is chasing him but hasn't caught up yet. He knows he has to tell his family. He knows once he does, nothing will ever be the same. Angela senses something is wrong, but instead of leaning in, she pulls away. Fear makes her decisive, not supportive. Her instinct is always escape, create distance, control the narrative, and that instinct becomes a knife between them. Tommy needs partnership more than ever, and Angela gives him logistics instead of love, safety instead of presence. It's heartbreaking because you can tell she believes she's helping while unknowingly abandoning him emotionally. Meanwhile, Cooper's situation becomes impossible to ignore. What happened behind the cafe isn't something that can be undone. The adrenaline fades and reality crashes in. Police involvement means records, evidence, questions that don't care about intent or context. Cooper isn't just scared for himself. He's scared of becoming someone he can't recognize. The episode allows that fear to breathe. It doesn't rush past it. It forces us to sit with the cost of violence, even when it comes from a place of protection. This is where Landman becomes painfully human. No one is purely wrong. No one is cleanly right. Everyone is reacting, surviving, choosing the option that hurts the least in the moment, even if it causes deeper wounds later. Tommy tries to hold everything together, but without power, without authority, without trust, his words feel hollow. He's a leader no one listens to anymore. There's also a growing sense of danger surrounding the business itself. With Tommy gone, decisions are being made faster, riskier, louder. The caution that once slowed the machine is gone, and the audience can feel it. Something bad is coming, not as a twist, but as a consequence. The show isn't asking if disaster will strike. It's asking who will be standing when it does. By the end of this section, the emotional lines are clearly drawn. Tommy is isolated. Angela is retreating. Cooper is exposed. And the systems that once protected them are either gone or turning against them. Episode 10 doesn't give relief. It tightens the knot. And you realize this isn't just a season finale. It's the moment everything truly starts to fall apart. The episode saves its most devastating emotional blows for the moments where no one is watching. When Tommy finally starts to accept that he's been pushed out, the weight of it doesn't come from anger. It comes from exhaustion. A deep, bone-level tiredness that says he's been fighting longer than anyone realizes. This isn't just about losing a job. It's about losing purpose. About waking up one morning and realizing the rules changed without telling you. As the walls close in, Tommy does what he's always done. He looks for a way to fix it. Not with violence, not with manipulation, but with responsibility. He reaches out to people he never wanted to depend on. He admits things he spent his whole life holding back. And in doing so, he exposes himself in a world that punishes vulnerability. The power imbalance becomes terrifyingly clear. He no longer has leverage. He has fear. That fear turns into a threat. Not shouted, not dramatic, just quietly stated, which somehow makes it worse. The message is simple. Fail, and your family pays the price. This is where Landman crosses from corporate drama into something darker. The oil isn't just money anymore. It's control. And Tommy is trapped inside a system that will squeeze him until there's nothing left. At the same time, Angela makes a choice that hurts more than any argument ever could. She chooses distance. Not because she doesn't care, but because caring feels unbearable. She stays within Inslee. She creates space. She convinces herself it's temporary. But the damage is immediate. Tommy doesn't just feel abandoned. He feels replaced. Like the family he sacrificed everything for no longer needs him in its hardest moment. This is the part of the episode that made me pause. Because it's painfully real. People don't always leave when things are bad. Sometimes they leave when things are too heavy to carry. And watching Tommy realize that the woman he loves most won't stand beside him when everything is falling apart is brutal. There's no villain here. Just two people failing each other in slow motion. By the end of this section, Tommy isn't just fighting the industry. He's fighting loneliness. And that's a battle no amount of experience can prepare you for. By the time episode 10 reaches its final stretch, Landman stops feeling like a show about oil and starts feeling like a story about survival. Every character is standing at the edge of a choice that will define who they become next. There is no reset button here. No easy recovery. Only consequences waiting to land. Tommy finally understands the truth he's been avoiding all season. Doing the right thing does not protect you. It isolates you. The system does not reward caution, loyalty, or honesty. It consumes them. And standing there, stripped of his title, separated from his family, and threatened by forces far bigger than him, Tommy looks smaller than we've ever seen him. Not weaker, just human. A man who gave everything and is now being asked to give more. The looming danger around Cooper hangs heavy over everything. The legal storm isn't just about what happened in that alley. It's about how fragile justice becomes when power shifts hands. With the old protections gone, every move feels risky. Every phone call feels loaded. And yet, in the middle of all that fear, there is one thing that finally cuts through. Responsibility. Someone has to step up. Someone has to face what's coming. And whether he's ready or not, that someone is Tommy. The final moments don't offer comfort. They offer clarity. This is the lowest point. The moment before transformation or destruction. Tommy isn't broken yet, but he's close enough to see what breaking would look like. And that's what makes this episode hit so hard. It doesn't end with hope. It ends with truth. Because sometimes the most painful thing isn't losing everything. It's realizing you might have to rebuild it alone. And that's why Landman Season 2 Episode 10 didn't just make me emotional. It made me quiet.